Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Kim White with Case Metrics, and welcome to today's Case Metrics webinar featuring our host, Jody McKnight of the McKnight firm in Charleston, South Carolina. We are going to give folks just a couple of minutes to join us, and while we do that, I'll just take the liberty of making a couple of comments. If you have questions today during the webinar, feel free to log those in the Q&A that you'll see at the bottom of your Zoom screen. If you have any technical issues and maybe need a little tech help during this, you can log those in the chat, and I'll be glad to assist you during the event. And then we will address all of the questions at the end. I will also put Jody's contact information and mine in the Q&A, so you'll have that. It could be that there are some things that you want to speak to us about privately that you don't want to share with the rest of the audience. So do feel free to email us directly. If there's a case you want to refer to Jody, for example, you may wish to reach out to him privately to discuss that. Jody McKnight, I'm sure, is not a stranger to many of you. He is recognized across the state of South Carolina and really across the Southeast because of his STLA work as an effective litigation and trial advocate for people who've had really serious injuries or for families who've lost someone in a wrongful death action. He's penned a lot of articles and professional publications on topics related to personal injury, trial strategy, and communications. National Trial Lawyers Association has ranked Jody as one of the top 100 trial lawyers in the state of South Carolina consistently since 2011. He's also recognized as a member of Super Lawyers, which recognizes and ranks prominent attorneys and accomplished lawyers in each state. And he remains active in SCAJ, South Carolina Association for Justice, where he served on its board of governors for 6 years. And that's where we see him most frequently. Today, Jody is going to wrap up our wellness series for attorneys and bring some very meaningful content to us. We have done, this will be 3 of these, focusing on attorneys' wellness, both mental and physical health. These have been extremely well received. And Jody, I cannot thank you enough for agreeing to do this for us because this is a topic that has been overdue for quite some time. So I will let you take it now. My friend, Jody McKnight.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jody McKnight from Charleston, South Carolina. I am a serious injury and wrongful death and attorney. I know a lot of you from various organizations such as the South Carolina Trial Lawyers, Southern Trial Lawyers. And thank you, Kelly Coyne and Kim White with Case Matrix for giving me this opportunity. I'm very grateful. It means a lot to me to be part of this Attorney Wellness Series. I've been in practice since 1993 for 32 years now, and like all humans and lawyers and others, I've had my ups and downs, my wins and losses in my professional and personal life. And so today we're going to talk about emotions and energies, and we can all fill in the blanks with our own life experiences. I'll say that I have no formal experience, training of any kind, not even a weekend seminar of any sort. So if any of you, if I say something that sounds sophomoric or moralizing, please forgive me. I'm going to go ahead and forgive myself in advance. My thoughts have been influenced by authors Eckhart Tolle, the author of The Power of Now, and also A New Earth, Awakening Your Life's Purpose, as well as some readings of Brene Brown, who I just read a book of hers called Daring Greatly that I would highly recommend, and I'll show those books at the end. And my sincere thanks go out to the 2 prior speakers in this series, Luke Pollock and Mike Haggard. Luke Pollock is from Port Royal, South Carolina, and Mike's an accomplished attorney down in Coral Gables, Florida. And both of those stories that they shared with us, and I hope some of you were able to see them, they were stories of an inner purpose awakening. Luke uh, had this idea in his mind about what kind of lawyer he wanted to be, and he kind of set that as the standard. And he basically almost worked himself to death, day and night, constant mental focus, physical, on nothing but work. And he ended up having TIAs, transient ischemic attack. And one day he sat with his children. He saw his children in the room with him. He almost felt like he was going to die. He asked him to leave the room. He thought he was going to die. He, all of a sudden, he had this present consciousness of his inner purpose. He got himself better. He backed off of the law practice, the pace and the intensity, started his own practice, and now he's leading a life, a well-balanced life, in fulfilling his inner purpose of taking care of himself and his family, and leading a balanced life. Michael Haggard, a friend of mine through Southern Trial Lawyers, um, came from, had a father who was in the bit in as a professional lawyer for many years, great firm. Mike was accomplished, a couple of $100 million verdicts at age 37, 38, beautiful wife, children, had it all. And all of a sudden discovered he had polycystic kidney disease. Um, Mike's brother-in-law graciously gave him a kidney, donated a kidney to him. This was an inner purpose awakening of Mike, of his inner purpose and intention of gratitude and love and the inner purpose of helping others. And now he uses his time and resources and gives to back to the people who, helps people find kidneys, donates, and has his own organization on helping people with this disease. This near-death experience for both of them brought them to their knees and allowed them to experience vulnerability, humility, gratitude, and present-minded awareness and clarity. Um, Today, I'd like to explore how we could possibly have calm and present-minded focus to achieve our inner purpose before we suffer a near-death experience through emotional intelligence. The goal is for us to see it coming before it comes. Now, of course, Mike, there's nothing you can do about that. That's just something that physically hits you, and you change. You fundamentally, your outlook changes. Um, we as lawyers have a collective conscience, an understanding of each other and the system that we operate in. And we go through these different stages of the practice of law: the beginning, the middle, and the end. The windshield looks different at different stages. It's like life, expansion, contraction, sort of like life, expansion and contraction. And then there's the end. In the end, a young lawyer is naive and young and full of energy, not knowing where they're going to end up. Uh, Older lawyers, seasoned lawyers, and judges, and that kind of thing just seem bigger than life. Uh, it's exciting, but also hard work. If you're in a plaintiff's firm or a defense firm as a young lawyer, uh, you're going to be getting all kinds of projects to work on. You're going to be working very, very hard. We know that on the defense side, you see these guys having to do these ridiculous billable hours and work on the weekends, and and with the plaintiffs, I mean, you're really focused, and at the same time, you're starting a family. You've got these cultural expectations, family obligations. It's a pressure filled situation, and unfortunately, we lawyers have this thing about perfectionism. We want to do everything right, and sometimes we really have to do everything right, lest we mess up a client's case. And so there's that pressure and those emotions that goes along with that. In the middle of practice is more, you started to gain your traction. You start to make a little money. You start being asked to be on boards and things of this nature. And then, you know, you get distracted. You're making a little money, you move in a nicer neighborhood, there's shiny things all around you that get, toys you might buy, friends, people that have money and shiny things that invite you into their other world. And, unfortunately, in our middle ages, we suffer sometimes through divorce and all the emotional turmoil, and while also practicing law. And the law practice itself is pressure filled at that point. We're very busy amongst all these distractions and emotions. And of course, in the end stage, like I am now, I'm 61 years old. I don't feel old, but I have to look at the reality of time and say, okay, how much longer? I'm senior counsel now, and at that point it's still things go through your mind. Am I doing as good as the next guy? When do I get retired ever? He just retired last. You compare yourself to others. We have a lot of blessings as older lawyers. But we're also, we're more wise and that kind of thing, and know a lot of people, and have experienced a lot. But then again, we face the pressures of being older. We don't know technology as good as that younger guy. We're so thankful for the younger people around us. They help us with the tech. When I started, I remember kind of chuckling at a guy who older than me, who couldn't work, even open up Word perfect and type anything. I mean, it's on a whole different scale now. I'm looking at these young guys with all this AI stuff, and you know technology, and so we have our emotions in the older stage as well. And one of the things I'd like to say is how important belonging is in this profession. I've been a member of the South Carolina Association of Justice, used to be the South Carolina Trial Lawyers Association. I've been a member since my second year in practice. I mean, in law school, excuse me. And I was a student member, and I've been a member ever since. And I can tell you, I wouldn't be who I am. I wouldn't have accomplished a quarter of what I've accomplished without my friends around me in the trial lawyers associations, going to conferences, having relationships, realizing that we are all in this game together. There's this thing when you get together with people versus seeing them on a screen or on wherever, you feel their humanity, and you realize we all are going through this together, and none of us are perfect, and we're all humans, and we're all in it together. And when you and having a group of people to belong to, and consistently be with year in year out is important. I don't need CLE credits anymore. I don't go to conferences for CLE credits. We have this exemption thing when you in South Carolina. After a while, you don't have to do it. But that misses the point. I'm going to go. I'm going to continue to go because this is my world, and I need that emotional support to be calm and confident, and of course to keep from getting sued. I want to keep up with the latest stuff. I can't imagine just stopping. Physical fitness is so important. Um, Especially if you're a litigation and trial lawyer, you've got to keep physically fit. How are you going to go through rounds of depositions or weeks of trial if you're not physically fit? You don't want to wear yourself down. Um, the goal is to maintain our physical, mental, and spiritual health throughout our careers and into retirement. Emotions and energy. Let's talk about that for a minute. There are positive energy expanding emotions and intentions, humility, compassion, empathy, forgiveness of ourselves and others, love, the unconditional intention and wish for the well-being of yourself, your family, your friends, colleagues, your community, and even your opponents. We'll talk about that in a minute. Negative energy draining emotions and intentions are guilt, regret that you did or failed to do something in the past, shame focuses on your sense of self, the painful feeling that you're fundamentally flawed in some way for something. And shame and guilt can be used as weapons. We do it, if we're in an unconscious state and our egoic mind is, we're guilting somebody, we're making them feel shame, or we get shamed and guilted ourselves. It's a very negative energy draining emotion, and we don't want a part of our life. Fear of the future, anger, hatred, jealousy. Jealousy usually comes up in romantic relationships. It's different than envy because you want something, you think somebody's going to take something from you. Envy is, more like, we envy that guy's success, this person's money, their whatever they have that we want, we're envious. It's an energy draining um, emotion. So all lawyers at some point in their career or multiple points endure fear, anger, guilt, shame, regret, envy, and disappointment. Um, and we of course we all know that the challenges faced by family, probate, and criminal lawyers. I mean, we have to soak up the energies of clients who are physically, mentally, and spiritually at their worst at times. Parents battling over custody, a hard-working breadwinner taken down by physical injury, the loss of a loved one, a business person, if you're a criminal lawyer, caught cheating with his or her, or cheating on her partners, and you've got to represent this person who's acted unconsciously through greed, and all of a sudden you're having to deal with it. We get paid to unravel problems and bring people peace of mind and achieve the goals that we are charged as attorneys to achieve. And of course, we operate in this adversarial system where we have legal and ethical obligations to use our talents to the fullest, to zealously represent our clients within the law and within the confines of our ethical obligations. We're there to win. The process and the game face we take on as zealous advocates can cause stress, cumulative stress over time that builds up. And we're not even realizing it. We're just cumulatively getting more stressed out. But it's a serious business. I mean, we're trying to make the other side lose and lose time and money, and they're trying to do the same thing to us. It's serious. But this is the system that we're in. It's sort of built in to involve guilt, fear, shame, regret, and disappointment, just as a matter of the process that we're in. We're not like, in some always clean, sweet, collaborative environment. And so also with technology today, we're separated. We don't have that person-to-person contact, that oxytocin that we had 30 years ago when we all got together in person for everything at a slower pace. And, so technology has separated us. It's outpaced our humanity. And, there is a mind-body connection. We feel, when we feel guilt or shame, fear, regret, our body hurts. It hurts in your chest, your stomach. Uh, you know, this is where the physical, mental, and spiritual well-being intersects. To be physically well, we need mental and spiritual wellness. They all affect the other. But before I go further, let me make clear that nothing that I'm saying should be interpreted to mean that we should do anything less to be tough, competitive advocates in this adversarial system. Um, Most of us love it. Uh, this audience today that subscribes to Case Matrix, I mean, they're fairly accomplished lawyers. We've all been up against the biggest and the baddest lawyers in this country, most of us. And, you know, it's tough. Uh, I wanted to say this because I'm going to talk about actually loving your opponents. And I'll explain in a moment how I think that we can love our opponents while also working as fierce advocates for them, even the ones that are acting really unconsciously and difficult, and we almost despise them. Um, but we can forgive them while also being fierce advocates against them to achieve our client's purpose. We don't let people walk all over us under any circumstance, but it doesn't keep us from being presently conscious, decent people. You know, there is a physics to time and space. You know, all we have is the present moment. And that's where I'm referring to Eckhart Tolle. He wrote The Power of Now. If you think about it, all we have is the present moment. The past is a series of present moments that leads up to now. The future is a series of present moments into the future, ending eventually in our death. Um, that's all we have is a matter of time and space that we can discern. And I mean that from our conscious living perspective. As a matter of time and space and physics, I'm not ruling out that our energy and spirits live beyond our physical vessels. That's another subject. But as lawyers, I believe that we should act accordingly, reducing our pain from egoic words, actions, or lack thereof, when something, you know, should have been said, or when something should have been said or done, we can act in such a way with present-minded consciousness to keep ourselves focused on our inner purpose and not operating from our egoic minds that carry all these stories from the past or fears and imaginations of what might happen in the future. Remember, we only have now. The future is an imaginary story that we put in our minds. In the past are these stories that just cumulatively build up and build up. Carl Jung, the famous uh, psychologist, called it our shadow self. I think that's the same thing that both Eckhart Tolle and Carl Jung are talking about, this egoic mind, the shadow self. But we lawyers, we see the world in stories. Humans, all humans see the world in stories. And as trial lawyers, we're storytellers. Um, but stories in our minds that shape our identities, all affecting our present moment consciousness. These stories reside in our egoic minds, but because we are affected by these emotions that derive from these stories that we make from past relationships, events, or mistakes we've made, or desires and ego based on intentions and emotions like envy or greed, our egoic mind gets in the way of our present minded clarity and consciousness. and prevents us from acting and speaking based on our inner purpose, involving the positive emotions of humility, calm, empathy, and love, being the concern for the well-being of ourselves and others. These positive emotions and intentions fill our bodies, our physical vessels, with energy rather than draining us. And so, as a lawyer, I have a few things just to say. Know your lane and be humble. Have the humility to refer cases you can't handle effectively. Protect your client's well-being and your own. Have a present mind and ask yourself, is my decision going to create negative emotions of guilt, shame, fear, or regret? Or when others come at us aggressively, uh, egoic state, and keeping a present-minded focus. Be authentic. You can only be you and embrace life and your inner purpose. Start each day with gratitude. Be thankful for everything you have. Intend the physical, mental, and spiritual well-being of yourself, your family, your colleagues, and even your opponents. Practice daily forgiveness. Forgive yourself and others for past mistakes and future imperfections. We all know we're going to screw stuff up in the future. Go ahead in advance. Forgive yourself. Forgive others. Forgiveness is the release valve of guilt for guilt, shame, fear, regret, and other emotions. It's a huge, and of course, we know it's embodied in various religions. I'm not here to recommend one religion over the other. We're just talking about energies and emotions. Focus on the present moment. Past and the future, as I said, they're just stories. All we truly have is now. The present moment awareness is essential to our well-being. See clients and colleagues as human beings. Approach each other with love and empathy and compassion. Care about their physical, mental, and physical well-being, even when we're battling to win. Create a culture free of shame. Lead with curiosity and creativity, not fear and shame. Support the well-being of your team at work. If you have multiple tasks ahead, start small. Don't try to compartmentalize the whole thing. Start small and expand. You only have so much time and energy. Delegate it if you need to, but keep things moving. We lawyers, we get stuck in these. Lawyers sometimes get sued because they procrastinate. They get bound up in emotional turmoil and they just leave things and deadlines pass, and we all need to be present and conscious of our responsibilities and do things slowly and don't take on more than we can handle, and acknowledge your limitations and forgive yourself for your limitations. We're all just human. Make your surroundings and express your peaceful, present-minded consciousness, your garden and your home energy. Size doesn't matter. Even a porch of a potted plant arranged in the right way with intention and scale and textures and colors that are natural and calming can be helpful. If you or your family suffers an overwhelming tragic loss, a loss of a loved one, a child, a huge physical disability, seek professional help. Or if you're, you know, we're just human. forgive yourself and acknowledge your humanity under whatever circumstances. If you're twisted out mentally and stress is building up, please go see someone. Don't be ashamed. I know we're these knights in shining armor, everybody, but we're stronger if we are humble and recognize our humanity and go seek help. You know, don't numb yourself with hard drugs. We shouldn't be numbing ourselves with hard drugs and alcohol. Um, it never works. And if you become addicted, you have a problem. Uh, the South Carolina bar will give you free 4 or 5 free hours of consultation. There's a program, uh, lawyers helping lawyers, or whatever that thing. They're resources, and but get help. Don't sit and let it fester till it becomes a problem. Um, Take morning walks. I love to walk in the morning. It kind of goes with the circadian thing when the birds are awakening. It's kind of a metaphor for awakening. Um, and breathe and be present in your environment, experience consciousness and awakening through beauty, sights, and smells. I try to be curious about my surroundings and focus on the small things in that slow dimension of time and space of walking. I walk just about every morning. Um, Listen to music and sound therapy. Remember what Luke said, Luke Pollock, he said, God, for so many years, I just quit listening to music. He was in this unconscious state, working so hard in his mind. He was a big Grateful Dead fan. And now that he's awakened, he's back listening to Grateful Dead again. He's back playing with his animals in the morning. Now he gets up at 3:30 in the morning. Luke, that's a little much. But this is a guy who has present-minded consciousness for his physical, mental, and spiritual health now. And he's back to listening to music. I recommend, and I have a nice sound system. I recommend you invest in that. Have a room where you can go and listen to some low frequency music. Tony Bennett, Diana Krall. Uh, Sit there for just an hour and do nothing. Don't look at your phone. Just listen to some good music, and it can bring your megahertz down. Um, I like the Grateful Dead too. Um, Remember that people will remember how you make them feel. True success is measured by the positive impact on others' well-being, uh, because you're really the one who wins. These positive energies increase our bank of positive of energy. Uh, we have finite energy, and the negative drains it, and the positive intentions and emotions build us up. So when we love and forgive and that kind of thing, it's for us. It helps us. So, you know, there's no separating these physical, spiritual, and mental and spiritual realms. They all affect each other. I think we should manage our blessings. Thought about this over the years, and I think that sometimes we have a harder time managing our blessings than we do our challenges. So even though I think we should stay on our knees metaphorically. Even if we're knocked to our knees and we're rising again, uh, remember where you came from and stay on your knees metaphorically, even though you're flying to great heights. Don't be fooled and lose your identity to empty energies of shiny things and people who come into your life during times of material success. Stay humble and true to your inner purpose. There's this concept of neuroplasticity, and it basically it's a science that tells us our minds can be changed The wiring of our brains can be changed through gratitude, present consciousness, through forgiveness, and through eliminating these egoic impulses and emotions, and not being afraid of being vulnerable, authentic, and humble. Um, Life is about birth, expansion, and physical death. Spiritual expansion is infinite, and some would say lives on beyond our physical death. Um, some people say their happiest times are after age 65, and we know at that point their physical bodies are starting to diminish. We've just seen in this industry and profession too many suicides. We have a suicide rate of 4 times the rate of the average population. And I believe it's from shame, guilt, grief, fear, and this cumulative stress that we endure in this egoic structure. So, to conclude, I would very much again like to thank. Let me find where did my PowerPoint program go? Excuse me. There's Luke. 1 second. Yeah, did everybody see Luke? But I want to thank Luke Pollock again, and also Mike Haggard, our speakers, for this that spoke before me and shared their inner awakenings. Birds are sort of a metaphor for awakening. We find that in various texts and religions. And so there's Mike, there's Luke. Let's not be this guy. Let's not be that egoic mind. You know, let's stay away from being this guy, this person. Let's have individual, present-minded, positive consciousness that derives from our inner purpose to accomplish our inner purposes, and let's contribute to the collective consciousness of our community, our profession, and humanity. There we all flying away together. Again, there's Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now. I highly recommend that you read it. I'm no philosopher. I'm just a lawyer, just like the rest of you, that's contemplated this over time. Eckhart is very interesting. There's another book of his I recommend. And of course, Brene Brown is wonderful. But before we end it, I want you to listen to the words of this song. And this is Tony Bennett. And I think it's Linda Ronstadt singing with him.
Jody, we're having an audio issue.
Oh, really?
Is just too long.
Did it work?
We have inconsistent audio on that. I hate it so bad because I know this was a good ending.
Yeah, well, anyway, that was the song. Anyway, that was a song by Tony Bennett. It's called Nature Boy. And uh, and that is one of my favorite songs. Nat King Cole sang it. Tony Bennett has done it as a duo, and it's about love. It's not romantic love. It's about love in general, and it being the greatest thing. And that's kind of the message and the
All
end of
right.
the story. I'm sorry, we had
I'm
some
going to
technical
Google the
issues with that, but
lyrics afterwards because I do
yeah,
want to hear them. You piqued my
it is
interest.
amazing. Yeah, but thank you all. Thank you, Kim. Again, I'm very grateful. Kelly, thank you all. It means a lot for me. I'm so happy I was able to be here today. And thank you all for taking the time out of your busy schedules to be with us.
We appreciate your words more than I can possibly express. I actually took a lot of notes because I've been doing the starting my day with gratitude, and I am convinced it gets you off to a better start in the day. So I've added some things to that, which I think are very important. A lot of good takeaways. If guys, if any of you have any questions for Jody while he's still on, please log those in the Q&A, and you'll see in the chat, I have included Jody's email address in case you want to reach out to him personally about something. I've also included email addresses for myself and for Kelly Coyne in sales. A lot of you in SCAJ in South Carolina know Kelly, Georgia too, and other states, but she's also based in Charleston. Um, as our thanks for attending today, if you're not already a Case Metrics subscriber and you want to look inside the live database free of charge for 10 minutes, email me or email Kelly. We'll do it one day when you've got 10 minutes. We'll hook you up with a quick Zoom meeting one-on-one. You can tell us about one case you're evaluating now, and we'll pull up a list of recent settlements and verdicts on your screen that you can view there free of charge. Not only you see how this works, but hopefully look at some data that will make you make sure that you're getting the most fair settlements for your clients as well. And for those who don't know, I mean, everybody thinks of Case Metrics as a settlement and verdict database. That is our core mission. But I have a 27-year paralegal background, and we have hired a lot of experienced paralegals that work here at Case Metrics. The ones that have at least 15 years experience in MedMal can help you with your medical chronologies, summaries, and demand letters. Ours is not a straight up AI product. It is more of an AI hybrid because you have real experienced paralegals actually reading your records and not just telling you what they say, but pointing out very important factors about those cases that we want to make sure that you're understanding, whether it's a weakness or if it's a strength of your case, as well as provide a list of follow-up items that you need to attend to that we came to understand as we were reading your records. So do feel free to reach out to us on those as well. I see we are having fewer questions during the wellness series, and I know that a lot of this stuff is personal. So if you want to talk to Jody one-on-one, do feel free to either call him or reach out to him at Jody, Jody, at McKnightLaw.com. Or
At
reach out
Jody at jmcknightlaw.com.
jmcknightlaw.com. I thank you for
Yeah.
correcting me. I have a typo there. Jody at J Mc.
Yes.
Thank you for catching that. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
We all, yeah, we all need backup for typos, right? Thank you very much for your time, and we will look forward to having you join us for next month's webinar featuring Howard Butler in Florida. He's going to be talking to us about bad faith cases, including one that he had to take all the way, which is very interesting. I was part of that journey, and it is the most interesting story. And we both learned a lot in that process. And I'm excited for him to share that with you. There's a lot in that you can use. If you need to reach me directly, my number is 404-849-6422. And Jody, your number?
My number is 843. You can call me on my cell, 843-991-5639.
Okay, we are good to go. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a fantastic day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jody.